Hope everybody enjoyed their holidays and are ready to get started on this new year. In this Weekly 5, I want to talk about another method of improving STAR scores, which is interleaving instruction. In fact, when you look at interleaving effect, and we talk about what that means here in a minute, is that any number of studies, and this comes from Scientific American, shows that it improves overall academic achievement. Now, what interleaving is that instead of having long blocks that you deal with, is that you break it down into smaller areas. And for example, on here is that you have in topic 1, you start off with a small mini lesson, you introduce it, you go to a different topic and a different topic and a different, and then you come back at a later date and you build upon that original learning and you take it a little bit further. I also think there's one other aspect to this, is that if you take a topic itself, such as the topic 1 up there, and you find multiple ways, different contexts to bring that topic into it, and you begin to get into a deeper and a greater understanding of what that topic is through doing that. In fact, a study of 7th graders learning math skills showed a 25% increase in scores taken on a test that was taken 1 day later, but an overall a 76% increase in a test taken a month later. And the reason is because by having it in smaller areas that you have to come back to and look at again over time, you end up learning it much more deeply and use that recall area that we talked about earlier on the testing effect to be able to pull back previous material and use it in this new context. So let's talk a little bit about why interleaving works. Is that first of all, it does take the skills that you're trying to learn on that day and you're using them to pull up previous skills that they have done, and you do it within smaller lessons. And I tell you, smaller lessons is important because we know through research that we tend to pay more attention to any kind of lesson at the very beginning and at the very end. We also know that when you look at students, whether it's elementary through high school to adult learners, is that our attention span is not that great. And so if you break it up a little bit, you get greater amounts of time that you're actively engaged and academically engaged with the content. It definitely creates connections between different themes, but also between early learning and later learning. And one of the things that we need to make sure we do is connect to the STAR. And next week I'm going to talk about deliberate practice, but we need to, through that process of looking at information, make sure that they know what it looks like in that STAR format. So we don't want to take up a lot of time doing this, but we need to make sure we create that connection to the STAR. The changes require a strong structure, so you need to make sure you have good management in place, because when you're changing from topic to topic, there needs to be limited waste of time. And the pace also can be motivational, because as you move through things more quickly, people tend to stay more engaged over time. Now, as always, if we can do anything for you, let us know. Quick shout out to Wells ISD. I'll be there on the 2nd doing a quick little professional development. And remember, inspire and educate, be architects for human potential.